Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now in today's video we are going to be taking a look at a selection of highlight clips from the past few days here on Mississippi Acres Preserve, where I have been going through a ton of multiplayer servers in search of some nice trophies. And we are starting off here in one of Mississippi Acres' beautiful cotton fields, where we have a level 2 albino whitetail buck. Now, this guy isn't particularly huge, but he is definitely albino, and that is a really beautiful sight. Just something about seeing a pure white deer in a cotton field just looked absolutely stunning. And I did end up grabbing a few screenshots of him on the ground against the beautiful white cotton plants. Just a really beautiful setting. And this was actually the first track I picked up when I joined this server, was of this albino whitetail, which was just really cool. And I actually had to run over 200 meters away from the outpost to make these guys render in because they were that close to where I spawned. But he is a little bit of an odd looking little level 2, but definitely a beautiful little rare. Moving on to the next clip now, and this was something I was so excited to see. That right there is a level 5 blonde raccoon, and literally, again, not long after I joined the session, I was running to one of the areas I like to hunt on this map, and I saw a group of raccoons running across the road, and amongst them was this level 5. Now, I took 2 shots at him there with this gamekeeper shotgun, and I didn't want to take another shot at him just in case any pellets from the first shot had actually hit him, because of course you can only take 2 shots before they lose score. So let's pick him up and see. He is a diamond, a 12 scoring blonde diamond raccoon. That is my first diamond raccoon here on Mississippi, and of course it's one of the brand new diamonds that I needed to tick off the list, and hopefully, you know, trying to get all the diamonds in the game again, this was one I needed for that list. And the blondes are really, really beautiful, so I'm really glad I actually managed to get a diamond one. He's not massive, being right on diamond requirement, but that is a really, really awesome little trophy. I hope to get more diamond raccoons. I think they are really stunning. And you can see, hit him square in the head there with a few pellets, and that was enough to bring him down at such close range with that shotgun. And moving on to another raccoon clip, once again running through the fields, and I was actually looking for quails when I saw something running out across the road that was a little bit interesting. Another level 5 blonde raccoon. Now, I ended up taking a couple of longer shots at this guy, and I will explain why. I have found tracking raccoons on the new map to be an extreme pain. They do not like to leave tracks, and I figured, seeing as I do have my bloodhound with me, if I could put at least one shot into him that would at least make him leave blood, then even if he wasn't leaving tracks, I could kind of have the dog help me to work out where he'd gone. But thankfully, I could see that he was actually losing health as I walked along picking up the blood, and those 2 shots were more than enough to bring him down. And you can see, once again, like I said, he is a blonde, and he is another diamond. Slightly bigger this time at 12.3, and another beautiful diamond raccoon. Only the second diamond raccoon I've ever shot. Both of them so far have been blondes. The blondes are definitely a common fur type for these guys as far as I'm concerned. They're not uncommon at all. I pick up blonde tracks all the time, but they do really look beautiful. They are just a really stunning little animal. And talking of tracks that I've picked up when running through fields, I picked up some more max weight Gray Fox tracks that led me to yet another legendary Gray Fox. And it just never gets old seeing the 9 legendary pop up on these small predators. It's just such a rush. So I ended up chasing this guy through the brush for a little while, because they like to run through where there's a lot of trees and bushes and make it really, really hard to actually get a shot on them. But this guy ended up doing something a little bit strange. He kept getting stuck on this one particular sort of set of trees there, and that basically slowed him down quite a bit. And I was just checking there that there was no other players or anything nearby that could cause him to spook off or that I was going to need to worry about. But you can see while he was getting stuck on those trees there, he did actually go back to being nervous. And I could tell that he was stood alert there. And before he got any kind of chance to run off or try and spook, I actually took a bit of a blind shot because I couldn't actually spot him. But it did go straight into the lungs where I wanted it. Another diamond grey fox with the 22 Hornet. And this one is a little bit bigger than my other one because this guy is actually max weight. Not quite max score, as you can see. His weight is 6.8, but his score is 6.7. So a little bit of a low trophy rating there for that weight, but that is still a really, really big diamond grey fox, and I am so happy to have another one. Moving on from one legendary animal and onto the next now, and we're taking a look at a level 9 American alligator. Now, as you can see, he is led there resting, and I took a shot at his neck, but it didn't get the neck shot that we're looking for. Now, this guy was giving me all kinds of hassle. He was just being so spooky and just not wanting to give me a shot for the longest time. And there was a lot of other people in this particular multiplayer server, including someone who came very, very close and actually said that they could see a legendary. And it was while I actually didn't have any spotting on this guy, and I was very, very worried that it might have been this one. And they actually ended up moving off after not very long and then leaving the session, and I never saw another legendary. So I think it was actually this guy that they had ended up spotting. But thankfully, after not too long, he did end up coming back nervous. And I knew at this point that I had one more opportunity to try and make the shot. Because, of course, as many of you will know, you can shoot an animal 2 times and no more before you will lose score. If you shoot a diamond animal that it should have been a diamond, and you shoot it 3 times, then it will become a gold. So I had this one last shot to make on this guy before he would turn into a gold, if he was going to make diamond. And thankfully I did land that second shot right into his neck and dropped him on the spot. And that is what you want to do with these alligators, is wait until they're on shore and then drop them with a neck, brain or heart shot so that they don't get back into that water. Because if they get into the water, you do run the risk of losing them. Now, let's take a look at what happened on that first shot. You can see it got flesh and the scapula, so it hit the shoulder blade. And this is entirely my own fault. I thought he was not... I didn't think he was quartering as much as he actually was. I thought he was a lot more broadside than that. And unfortunately, the shot actually hitting the shoulder blade there is what killed the penetration and stopped it going through to the neck bone. Because when you actually look at where that shot was heading, it was dead on for hitting the middle neck, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. But unfortunately, the first shot didn't pay off. But we did get it on the second shot, and I now know in future that if it does hit that shoulder blade, then it won't get that penetration that is needed there. And I know a little bit more about where that shoulder blade actually is, and just to be a little bit more aware of that. But this guy did end up being a diamond at 494.20, so not a massive diamond when 492 is diamond, but a diamond is a diamond nonetheless. Now, moving on to another legendary American alligator here, and this one gave me a lot less hassle. Thankfully, I spotted him, and I did actually spook him, but I had session host, so I just went and changed the time back and came back to this area, and you can see he's just calmly heading into shore, and he did go attentive for a split second, but he went back to calm, and then as soon as he comes onto shore, he goes straight into resting. No moving around and ending up facing me or anything weird like that, just led perfectly for me to take a shot. And I knew a little bit better again where I wanted to place that shot, and you can see I actually instantly dropped him. There was no delay at all of the health dropping, so I knew I must have actually hit the spinal cord itself and not just the neck. Because with the neck, it does take like 2 or 3 seconds for their health to go from 100 to 0, but you hit that spinal cord and it's instant lights out. And that's exactly what I did with this guy. Right where the sort of vertebrae meets the base of the skull there almost, and right in the middle of that vertebrae, right through the spinal cord. So that was an instant kill shot on this guy, and I'm really, really happy with my placement on that shot. And I think that the more I'm shooting these guys, the better I'm getting, as I have landed a few of those shots now, which is really encouraging. Once you start to practice your shots on these guys, it does become a little bit easier. And this guy is a pretty big diamond as well, so really, really happy to get him. And moving on to another alligator. This guy, you can probably already notice what's special about him. He is a piebald, and he is one of the... I have been told that the correct terminology is high white or high pied for these particular, this particular morph, I believe again is what you call it. It's basically the one that is just very extreme piebald. And I've learned something very interesting recently. There is actually two variations of this particular piebald pattern. One of them has different facial markings to the other, and it's very subtle, and I didn't notice it until I actually had them side by side in the lodge, and then I could notice that one has completely different facial markings to the other. So there are actually two of this variation that are mostly white with only a few sort of greenish brown patches. And thankfully this guy also ended up lying very nicely resting there, giving me a perfect shot angle. This is exactly the shot angle I want, is for them to be completely broadside like that. And as you can see, I got a neck shot there, which took his health down plenty quick enough. Not the spinal cord, I knew I hadn't hit that as it wasn't completely instant, but more than enough to stop him getting to the water. And that is such a stunning looking alligator. I love these guys so much. There's a lot of debate going on as to whether the piebalds should be classed as uncommons or rares. And I'll say my piece here. I believe these guys, without a shadow of a doubt, are a rare. They are a more common end rare, but they are a rare. With uncommons, and I'm going to use dilute mule deer as an example, you will see multiple of them per server. It's not uncommon to see a uncommon dilute mule deer. But you don't see a piebald alligator in every server. I have only seen, I believe, 5 or 6 now. I think it's 6. And I have been hunting the alligators hard, going through hundreds of, of these gators in multiplayer servers. And there's only been a few piebalds. So they are definitely a rare as far as I'm concerned. They're just a slightly more common to find rare. But that doesn't make them any less cool in my books. And as you can see, we're taking down another one of these extreme sort of high white piebalds here. They're just so stunning. The models that they did for these guys are beautiful. And this guy is the same variation as the previous one. You can see the facial markings are actually the same. And the way that I distinguish this one from the other very extreme high white piebald is the other one has a sort of greenish brown blotch, almost like in front of the eyes and between the eyes almost. But this one actually doesn't. It has markings along the jawline, including a marking that goes sort of up beneath the one eye, but there's not a blotch between the eyes, and that's the real difference that I find is very noticeable. And I have been sharing screenshots of that and talking about it in the Discords as well. So you might end up with a couple of different variations if you find a couple of these different piebalds, which I think is just really, really cool. Now, something that I have been trying to do since Mississippi Acres released is to try and collect all of the piebald variations for the American alligators. And this guy, as far as I know from everything I have seen posted, is the last piebald variation that I actually needed to complete that collection. I really wanted to have at least one of each of these piebalds on display in the trophy lodge, because I think it's so fantastic that EW put so much attention to detail in creating so many different piebald patterns for the American alligators. And this guy took a long time to come back to shore after I initially spooked him, but when he did, I managed to land a very solid spinal cord and neck shot there, which dropped him instantly. And this particular pattern is actually one of my favourites in the game. It just looks really nice. This one is very high contrast, with the really dark, sort of dark brown colour contrasting with that pale, almost pinkish white. I just think it looks really, really nice. And picking him up, he is, as you can see, a piebald level 5, and you can see that shot right at the base of the skull there, going through the cervical spinal cord and the upper neck, which was exactly the shot I was going for, and I was really happy to land that. What a stunning looking gator, and as far as I know, that completes my collection of piebalds. Obviously, as time goes on, if I end up getting higher scoring ones for any of the variations, I will replace those in the lodge, but for now, I'm extremely happy to have at least one example of each of those variations. Now, an animal I haven't given a whole lot of attention to since Mississippi Acres released is the wild hogs. And the reason I haven't given these guys a whole lot of attention is because they're not my favourite species in the game, or at least they weren't when they were only on Te Awara and known as feral pigs. And I did actually already have a black gold diamond feral pig from Te Awara in the trophy lodge, which with this update for Mississippi actually became this new model. But I thought it was really cool to actually find this guy, which was a level 5 black gold wild hog. So now I have a wild hog and feral pig, both with the same models, but from different maps. And this guy is actually slightly bigger than the one I have from Te Awara, so that is really, really nice. And I just want to show off this new model and really give credit, because I think this new model looks so much nicer. And actually, you know, now I've seen it up close, because like I said, I just hadn't given them much attention. But seeing this guy and seeing how much better they actually look up close, I'm really a much bigger fan of them now. And maybe I'll actually grind now to try and get an albino one, because these are just so much better looking. That longer snout and those bigger tusks really does a lot for them, as well as the more realistic fur. They're just so much better, so much more lifelike and less cartoonish. Really, really well done there by the devs. Now, something else I've been trying to get a diamond of, but really didn't know exactly how I was going to go about doing that, was a quail. Now, you will have seen me there. I spotted a particularly big level 2 female, managed to get her with the second shot there from the Gamekeeper shotgun, and I actually wasn't even recording. I had to get this from my shadow play, as I didn't expect what this was going to be. I didn't expect her to actually make diamond. I knew she had a small chance with the estimate she had, but I just wasn't honestly expecting it. So she is a diamond at 261.50, which I'm really pleased about. That's a whole point over diamond requirement, and it does seem like the level 2 females are the ones to go for. I have heard of one level 3 being shot, but I haven't actually seen a picture of any level 3s, and the only diamonds I've seen posted are level 2 females. So definitely keep an eye on those level 2 females that are, they go up to 0.19 kg on their track. Those are the ones that I've been keeping an eye out for, and I was really pleased to actually end up bagging that one. Another animal I ended up finding via tracks was this little gem. Hopefully you will have seen what I was picking up there. Those were some rabbit tracks for the Cottontail rabbits, and that was albino disturbed vegetation. Yeah, I ended up finding an albino female Cottontail rabbit. So I already have a leucistic in the lodge, which was a pretty big female, and now I ended up finding this. I wasn't even here looking for rabbits, I was looking for turkeys, but picking up this track was, you know, this became the immediate priority, was to go and find this. And again, what a stunning looking model. Absolutely beautiful looking albino gold eastern cottontail rabbit, and these guys actually seem pretty rare. I've only seen a couple of them posted amongst the community, and yeah, just really nice to get one as well to go with the leucistic. Haven't seen any melanistics posted. There may be them, they may exist, they may have been posted and I just haven't seen them. But I had seen leucistics and albinos posted by a couple of people. So really pleased to have at least one of each of those now. And like I said, these are really stunning. I like how with the albinos, the ears are really extra pink, and you can almost see like vein detail on the inner ears, which just looks really cool to me. And she is only just a gold, being 1.50 when 1.50 is gold. But that is an absolutely stunning little lodge edition that I am extremely happy to have gotten. Moving on now to the next set of trophies, and there is a reason that I'm crouching through this vegetation here. You're going to see a couple of turkeys moving around, and the second turkey in this group here is a rare. That is a leucistic female eastern wild turkey, and it was quite cool to actually take her out with the shotgun here. I very rarely take turkeys out with a shotgun, but seeing as she was at such close range, it just felt like it would be a good opportunity. Now, the leucistic eastern turkeys are really beautiful. That plumage type is absolutely stunning. And I have seen melanistics for these guys posted as well, and they are very reminiscent of melanistic male pheasants, having that blue-green sheen on their feathers. So I've been looking for one of those, but I was very, very happy to find this. This is my first ever rare eastern wild turkey. So I am going to tax her even though she is only a female, as to me it doesn't really matter. These guys look just as good on the wall as a male when you put them sort of with their tails and wings out. They look just as good, so she will stay there until I get a male one to replace her. So that is a really, really, really beautiful looking turkey. The eastern wild turkeys are my favourite by far. They are just so well done. Their models and the amount of detail is just superb. They're by far the best turkey in the entire game. And the rares for these guys seem particularly rare. I've only seen a couple leucistics and I think only 1 or 2 melanistics posted. So they are pretty rare, and that's really, really cool to see. But not long after finding the first leucistic, I ended up finding this one. That is another leucistic hen, which is just bonkers because, like I said, they are pretty rare. These aren't, you know, turning up every 5 minutes like the light brown turkeys on SRP at the moment. These are definitely a rare to find. So to find finally find one, and then I think it was within the next multiplayer session that I got this. They were like in 2 separate multiplayer sessions. It was just crazy. And I ended up finding both of those in multiplayer sessions whilst looking for a level 3 or a level 2 diamond eastern wild turkey. I really wanted to get a diamond one, as I have a wall in my trophy lodge with a diamond Rio Grande, a diamond Miriam's, and there was a space for a diamond eastern turkey. And I ended up coming to check this particular spot on my map that I ended up getting those 2 leucistics from in multiplayer. And I ended up finding this, a bronze plumage type, a diamond eastern wild turkey, which is just so lucky because the bronze plumage type is my favourite plumage type for these guys. It's just really stunning, and again, the amount of detail in their feathers and just how shiny they are and all of the different colours that actually show in the feathers of these guys. Highly recommend you check them out. If you can shoot a male turkey of the eastern wild turkeys, just go and have a look at their feathers and just see how much colour and beauty there is in these stunning birds. I absolutely love them, and they seem to not be that common to actually make diamond. I shot a ton of level 2 males, being the 9 to 11 kg weight estimate, and this was the first one that I actually ended up having make diamond, and this was actually the first diamond I found on my own map, so I was really, really pleased with this. And the eastern wild turkey completes my goal of having every diamond in the game again. This was the last one I needed from Mississippi. So I was very, very happy with this guy. So thrilled to finally have that done in just under a week of the map being out. Really, really good feeling to have that done again. Now, moving on to the animal that I think most of you probably will be the most interested to see in this video. And you can see right there, I'm picking up the track of a female Melanistic Gray Fox. Now, I was mid-tracking her when I finally ended up getting a spot on her, and I was chasing her through this brush, waiting and hoping to get a shot opportunity where it was a little bit more open, and just keeping tracking her, same as I do with the level 9s. Quite happily, you know, now I knew where she was and I'd actually got a spot on her, and knowing that she was a level 6 as well, so a really decent size female, when this happened. You have been kicked from the server. No idea why. I wasn't near anyone or causing any noise or disruption to anyone in that server, but I was determined. I got back in that server as quick as you like, and I went straight back to where I'd last picked up her tracks and got straight back on those tracks and actually found her in the same area as where she was when I'd been kicked. And it was very odd, as the 2 people that were in that session when I got kicked actually ended up leaving and I ended up getting host, which was a huge relief because this was, such an incredible find. And to get kicked when I'd finally got my eyes on her, I was devastated. This was the first good thing I'd found in about a 24-hour period, because I just was not getting any luck with finding anything good. And then I picked up her track, and then to get kicked, I was just not happy. I have mentioned many times that I got kicked after finding a grey piebald raccoon track in a multiplayer session, and then that session got closed. And I still can't believe that the only rare raccoon track I found I ended up getting kicked on, and I wasn't about to let that happen with this fox. And once she gave me a shot I was comfortable with, I took the shot there with the 22H, and you can see she's going down really nice and quickly. I wanted to ensure to make a good shot on her. I wasn't going to risk anything, especially now I had host of the server, because she is a level 6, and of course level 6 foxes do have a chance at being gold, so I didn't want to risk anything. But this fox is stunning. They are very, very dark colour, but they also have sort of flecks of red still in their fur, and these bright, gingery, yellow coloured eyes. Really, really stunning amount of detail. And let's pick her up. She is only a silver, but a level 6 Melanistic Gray Fox. So I have the Leucistic and the Melanistic, so I only need to get Albino and Piebald for these guys. I really didn't expect to find a Melanistic one so quick, and she is just so beautiful. The grey foxes are stunning. One of my favourite animals in the entire game now, just because they're so beautiful. So well done. It's a shame that in the harvest screen their whiskers sometimes look like really thick, but they don't look like that in the lodge or anything, so that's not too much of an issue. But just so much detail that it's a mainly black fox, but still having those occasional little red patches, I think is just absolutely stunning. And I was so grateful that I managed to actually get back into this session, get host, and then actually find her. I honestly thought I was going to lose her, and I was so scared of that. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all the support. I am just blown away by how well the channel is doing recently. It's absolutely incredible and very, very humbling. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.